Roll call, please.
Chairman Robert Rubino, Commissioner David Avalos,
I'm present.
Commissioner Nestor Martinez, Commissioner Daniel Portillo.
Present.
We have a quorum.
At this moment, I'll ask if anyone from the city or the commission has any conflict of interest with any agenda items standing. Seeing none, we move on to approval of the agenda. Do you have any changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Hector Angel, Acting Community Development Director for the City of Sunland Park. I would like to request a change on the consent agenda. There's only one item specific to the approval of the minutes of January 14, 2026. For reasons of an interpretation from a call out and an interpretation that were incorrect on my behalf. We have consulted with our attorneys as well as the municipal league, and what we're requesting is that we postponed the meeting minutes until we get some additional notices and clarification to the, I guess to as many people as we can that were present that day, and advising them that the decision called by the deputy clerk and my interpretation were not accurate based on my wrong interpretation. If we can see, do we have that available or?
Should we go over it next time then?
Yes, and like I said, the only thing that I wanted just to say is the postponement and part of the procedures as stated by the attorney. Essentially, my interpretation was based on an elected governing body and not this appointed governing body. It was an oversight on my part, and I do apologize. The next thing is that, again, we need a little bit more of time in order to gather some more information, and then we will make the correction on the next planning and zoning meeting. So if we can, if we may have that approved by this appointed committee, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to, well, actually, I don't have to do that. You're saying you all bring it back, you bring it back. I don't have to.
Well, if you can just make a motion to postpone it to the next, so postponement on the approval of the consent agenda for, when is the next planning and zoning meeting?
Or for further, rather than.
No, we need to put the date,
Yeah.
but we don't lose this. So when would be the
11th.
So my postponement is to postpone the consent agenda, meeting minutes for February 11, 2026, here at Council Chambers in the city of Sunland Park, New Mexico.
Okay, then I'll entertain that motion and,
At its regular time.
yes.
A motion to postpone for the previous date mentioned,
February.
February 11th.
Okay, motion on the floor, by, Theo. Is there a second?
I second. This is David. Avalos.
Roll call, please.
Chairman Robert Rubino, Commissioner David Avalos.
Aye.
Commissioner Nestor Martinez, Commissioner Daniel Portillo. Motion carries.
So no changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have a public hearing portion of this meeting, and number 2, the approval of variation 25117 about the carports encroaching setbacks for the child care center.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. Alicia Rivas, city planner. The next agenda number is variance 25-117. The applicant is requesting approval for 5 carports encroaching setbacks for Child Care Center located at 390 Cozy Road in Sunland Park. The application was submitted on September 16, 2025. Staff did not hold a DRT meeting and public notices was posted and mailed out before September 26, 2025. It is a mixed residential, and right now you'll see the perspective view, the area view, and the 5 carports highlighted. And right now you'll see the pictures, the letter of statement. And this is the letter of the contractor stating that the structures are safe. And just to let you know, Ms. Araceli Guerrero, she did have a meeting with city manager. And as per city manager told her that if she gets approved by city council, she will have to go to CID, and CID will let her know if the structures are safe to keep. So that's why on one of the conditions, number 6, if I'm gonna read it, it says that the applicant shall comply with applicable local and state and federal ordinance, code and regulations, including all requirements of the New Mexico construction industries divisions. So that's why she didn't provide any plans by an engineer, because she is stating that she didn't have the money to provide those. So that's why she had that meeting with city manager, and that's what city manager requested as for her to, if she gets approved by city council, she has to go to CID. And public notice letters were mailed out. Madam Clerk, do we receive anything back?
No.
Staff did not receive anything back. Staff recommends denial, but if it gets approved, the applicant should comply with the conditions stated below, and we stand before you for any questions.
Does this go to city council, by the way?
Yes, it has to go. Yes.
Okay. I'm still thinking. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve this item.
Motion to approve the present item.
Okay. Is there a second, please? Is there a second, please, Mr. Avalos?
Mr. Avalos?
Yes, sorry, I was speaking on mute. A second, I go ahead in a second.
Discussion and action, discussion on this item. Does anyone have any questions for city staff?
This, I have a question. This is David Avalos. It seems like this, we've been presented with this plan a couple of times, haven't we?
Yeah, I think the applicant wasn't here 1 or 2 of those times.
Yeah.
So we're here now. She's here now.
Okay.
So we have seen it and then we do that.
Yes, Chairman Arvino and Commissioner Avalos, the circumstances changed, from, because the applicant, has informed us that to get those structures certified, it was in excess of, I believe, $5,000, and that she did not have the money. The action item that is being considered here today is a recommendation either in favor or against.
Right.
It's gonna go to city council. We do recommend that a recommendation is made. Because we do not do vertical inspections, and this condition is not being met, then the preceding office would be Construction Industries Division. If they feel compelled to do the inspections and do that, then she would have to go and complete that. I know that the recommendation was that she was gonna have, how many days after, if it was approved to get this approved by CID? A period of 90 days, which is fair, because if they're gonna do inspection, she will have to go to them, take she will have to come to the city, get a zoning certificate, this 2 decision letters, take it to CID, and then they would make a decision. If that decision is rendered that is not satisfactory and they cannot do it, then unfortunately, at that point, the structures will have to be removed.
So, Hector, can you, Posey Road is the frontage or Herd Lane is the frontage?
Posey is the
So
front,
what is the front setback supposed to be on Posey Road?
20 feet. So we have encroachments all around it.
Right, and including the storage and.
Correct.
And the side and the back and the yard, right? And the side setback is supposed to be 15 feet on Herd?
Yes.
Okay, and the sides, the backs,
25.
7.5 on this, the five.
7.5 side, 20 on the back, or 15 on the back. Right,
8 on the back, 7 on the side, and the
7.
front, we said it was 20.
20.
I don't even know what to say. So these are all metal structures.
Correct.
All right, well, that's a fire issue that's not mitigated. I mean, at least at that point.
No, the issue that we identified is the encroachment to the setbacks, encroachments to potential utilities, the water runoff, to neighbors, access. It's actually the concern from fire was, that it would come back to him would be the access to the facility, especially on the sites and from one property to another. Cause it's not just one property, right? If you like most common walls, you can have the access to get to one side of the wall and be able to have access, whether it's for fire or police emergencies. So that's the constraint. But, as I mentioned, because we don't do that vertical inspection, we are given that opportunity to do that in order for us to release it and have that, facilitated with CID, as they had spoken. But because she's not able to fulfill that condition, we cannot force it. Because essentially the stand from staff should be that the structures are to be removed. We put the conditions because she presented a case where it sounded like she might have not known, she might have, given the wrong information. However, we did become aware, and that was one of the conditions that we made, that she would get a structural engineer that would take us from liability. That's why it's important to have a recommendation, from this board, whether it's, again, recommended city staff or any of the conditions. But at this point, that condition does not, it cannot be satisfied because she cannot afford to pay the $5,000.
If we're talking about, as it's being presented, and you can correct me if this is not the way, it's in relation to the operation of the business. So meaning, if it's not a condition that can't be met, isn't that like any other business? We're not propping up. It's their livelihood, yes, but it's not their immediate living. This is in relation to the business.
Correct. And this will take, if by not being in compliance, we have extended her business registration because there's a zoning violation. If CID does not accept it or she's not able to get them permitted and approved, then the curing of this, it's no choice but for structures to be removed.
Well, so, I mean, the options are handy, since there are, modular structures, like literally slices of bread can be taken off till they get into compliance, rather than suggest that everything is taken down.
But yes,
That's an option. There's like, say if you went to number 1, is the house within the setbacks? The house itself?
we believe that house, it's within the setbacks.
So say number 1 was moved, and I'm looking at the hand-drawn drawing, down the page to touch number 2. It looks like that's the 15-foot side. That would be 11 feet over, and that's only 56 inches. So, I mean, I just wonder if there's a way to work with her to try to get some of these in compliance, and then, some of them have to go, some of them have to go.
The issue is that, they were not permitted. The concern that we have right now, and what I don't want to mislead anybody, and like I said, we've been, helping in us, sharing this information with the applicant. The fact of the matter is that the violation, it's an encroachment to the setbacks in structures being installed without a permit. There's two rights. So, because if they would have had a permit, we would not be discussing this, then we would just be discussing the zoning. And then the zoning will be contingent on whether or not, it would not have to go to CID. Right now, the issue is that it needs to go to CID. And at this point, yes, for the permit, and if they get permitted, then we can, talk about again, being permitted by CID does not mean that they're gonna get to stay, right? So, but that's why we gave the option for getting them structurally engineered, so we can release the zoning portion of it. And if the commission approves that they stay as is, or that there's other conditions, then that would be a condition that can be made at this point to say, well, if CID approves it, then we're not gonna approve all these encroachments. They need to be reduced or shredded or peeled back. I think that's what you, Mr. Chairman, I don't want to put words in your mouth, mention. And then be able to come into some sort of compliance.
So there's no, this isn't. Is voting on this putting the cart before the horse if she has to go to CID anyway?
Voting for this will make a recommendation, will allow the city to protect itself against any potential liability, number one, in case something that can happen.
Right.
The other one is that it gives the applicant, as she requested to the city manager, that because she cannot afford the engineer drawings, that she could take a chance with CID and get him approved. So that's an opportunity that is being given, but that does not mean that, that still doesn't cover the fact that we are accepting the structures. If this is the desire of this commission, then we can say, well, if she gets them approved, then they, and you guys are okay the way they are, then they can't, that she doesn't need to come back. If there's anything, as the chairman explained, then it would need to come back and then be peeled back. But right now, because we cannot force her to pay an engineer because we don't do the vertical inspection, she has taken that option to go to CIDs. And that's what makes it a little bit more complicated than it was before. Yes.
Right, and I understand you can't force somebody to go to an engineer, but with regards to a business, that's kind of like, that's the idea of running a business, right? That
Correct.
you meet the limitations of your budget. It's not the city's responsibility to, we're not beholden to not letting things just happen as they are, because we are talking about a business.
Right. So if we take this a step back, and we start from the beginning, we identified a code and a code violation because the structures are not permitted. Then we identified the second one, which is the encroachments all around the property. Those are two. If we didn't find enough evidence or compelling information from the applicant, staff will not be recommending approval with any conditions. We would just be saying structures must be removed. But because we know that she paid a contractor, because at one point, there was she had explored the ability to do the engineering certification and the ability that this project was bonded or insured by, or done by a licensed insured contractor. We brought this to you, so I don't want to mislead you. That's why we said if they don't get approved, the next by CID, the next step is during the process is by the ordinance, which the ordinance says that the structures must be removed. It's
Right.
But going back to the origin, if we didn't find that compelling evidence, we believe that she might have been given the wrong information, that she might have done it, that she did it with not an ill intent, is the reason why staff presented it with conditions. But we don't need to present, we don't need to present the case with conditions. And that's why because those conditions are not able to be met, it's at the mercy of CID at this point. If CID says no, structures will need to be removed. But that is the decision from the applicant, not from staff, not from the city manager.
So, and you all, being city staff, like the storage is in there. I mean, it's on the lot line, times in the corner. Number one's, number five's.
I believe all of them are coaching one word, which
Yeah.
Something, and
I,
looking at the aerial, there's even more than you're showing. Thanks. But next to number five, there's two structures. Three structures. I guess that's the original house, and there's three separate. Okay. All right. Well, have any other further questions for staff? I guess we can hear, does anyone else have any questions for staff? All right, then we can hear from the applicant. Por favor, I guess I'm.
Sí,
So-
disculpe.
Yes, ma'am.
Mi nombre es Araceli Guerrero.
Sí.
Estoy aquí porque ya tengo mucho tiempo con mucha angustia por esta situación. Es mi trabajo, mi medio de vida.
Lleva su tiempo sin preocupar.
Todas las estructuras tienen un portón por donde pueden tener acceso para entrar. Todas las estructuras tienen un portón grande. Pueden entrar. Cuando yo empecé a hacer estas sombras, yo vine a la ciudad a preguntar. Yo quería hacer una sombra de madera y a mí me dijeron que las únicas sombras que no se necesitaban permiso eran esas sombras. Por eso yo empecé a poner estas sombras una a una con los años. Yo no sabía que me iba a meter en tantos problemas. He gastado mucho dinero en ellas. Es mi medio de vivir porque siempre he trabajado así. Tengo un negocio pequeño, muy pequeño, porque nomás puedo cuidar 6 niños. Esto es lo que yo puedo cuidar. Me pidieron una carta de un contratista, se las traje. Les firmé un documento que firmé donde dicen que ya no voy a hacer nada. Me siento invadida, no me siento dueña de mi casa. Yo contraté una compañía grande que me dio planos, porque yo no quería problemas. Y la compañía me hizo las sombras, me dio planos, me dio todo. Pagué muchísimo dinero porque era una compañía grande que me cobró mucho. Y yo no puedo, yo necesito la seguridad de los niños porque es mi trabajo cuidar niños. Mis niños se me han quemado por falta de sombras en los calores intensos que ha habido. Yo los transporto, también se me han quemado en la B. Yo necesito esas sombras. Créanme lo que para mí no hubiera sido problema pagar los permisos porque los permisos no cuestan nada. Para mí no cuesta nada. Pero esto que estoy pasando es demasiado ya. Aquí en Sunland Park está invadido de esas sombras, invadido, y nomás conmigo están haciendo esto. La carta que ellos me pidieron últimamente de un ingeniero me cuesta $6,000. ¿De dónde voy a sacar $6,000 para una carta de esas? Ahora no nomás quieren ya la carta, cada vez que vengo me piden algo diferente. Ahora quieren mandarme a la ciudad a que venga no sé quién, entonces cada vez me hunden más y yo ya no sé qué hacer. Yo me estoy enfermando. Yo tengo mucho estrés, yo no duermo en las noches. Yo necesito su ayuda.
Ma'am, she's translating, you're translating? Okay, so, are all the structures for children or some of them for the children? So, like, number one, what is that used for?
Son para vehículos también. Yo uso tres vehículos para la guardería y los otros dos son para los niños, los más grandes.
And you transport children in those vehicles, is that what you're saying?
No, en uno transporto, bueno, tengo dos para transportar a los niños y en uno es donde uso para ir al mandado.
So can you tell us, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, what's number 1 for?
El número uno es, ahorita es donde tengo una de las camionetas.
Cars. Number 2, is that para los
El
niños?
número dos, en el número 2 y el 3 es donde están los niños.
Niños.
Ujú.
Y 4,
4 y 5 para los otros vehículos.
yeah, and I appreciate what you're doing and I appreciate the business that you have. I think you're gonna have to come to some sort of realization that maybe not all these are gonna be able to stay. So you have to maybe possibly pick the important ones and give the city an option, with those. Like, I don't, I mean, from what we see on the aerial, there's a lot that beyond these 5 structures that are not legal as well. You understand that? The storage is not legal, whatever's next to the storage is not legal, whatever's on next to your house is not legal. So, I mean, the city, I understand where you're coming from, but something's gonna have to give. There's another way to put that. You're gonna have to somehow meet up with the city and
Pudiéramos repararlas, o sea, pudiéramos para no tirarlas, que vinieran a trabajar en ellas como para poder hacer el distanciamiento que se necesita.
well, so that's what I was trying to say, is that maybe some of those can get cut back and brought closer to the standard, because we've given variances before on structures that are at least closer. I mean, like number 4 is, you can't do anything with number 4, right? And I don't quite understand. I think some of this is wrong, because number 4 is at the lot line. It says, oh, that's just 10 feet wide, right? Number 3 seems further than 5 feet back, right? Did the city actually come out and measure these things, or this is off of
It
her
was she
plans?
provided.
Do you think that's another step? 1 second. Do you think that's another step that the city could take? I mean, I understand it's the onus of the property owner to provide the correct drawings, but I mean, I'm sure city council could appreciate that it looks like there's some wrong measurements here. Like number 3, to me, if that's only 15 feet away, maybe it's 10 feet back, but she has it 5 feet back. And it seems a lot long. I don't know, Hector, I'm just kind of shooting. I'm trying to get her some relief. I understand where this whole thing is. Believe me. But I wonder if that's something the city would consider doing. Is that something you guys have ever done?
To go and measure them?
Yeah, I mean, get some real numbers to this setback. So that if she came back to a meeting and we said, okay, if number 3 is 13 feet back, it can stay. If number 2 is, I mean,
Is there any precedent for that or?
Or is it something you guys would be willing to do? There's no way number two is only 5 feet back from the lot line. Look at how far it is on the
I
area,
mean, on the aerial, it appears that it's more than
15 feet back.
Yes, so this is the
Okay, I'm
the
sorry.
reason for it. So
Hold on, 1 second. Let me interrupt. Look at this area. Take it, get rid of whatever that is. See the width of that car? Go back. No, you were good. Go to the, yeah, just get rid of the DMVA. Keep moving it over a little bit if you could. So see the width of that car? The car's 7 feet wide. That car fits there 3 times between the fence and number 2.
easy.
That's a 21-foot setback. We shouldn't be talking about number 2. Other than the fact that it was put up without a permit. Number 3, if you take that truck and put it twice, that's 14 feet. So what I'm trying to do is get her a little bit of relief and get the city in a place where we've got some realistic numbers, because I think that's wrong. Right?
yes, and I'm gonna tell you, the concern here is this. We cannot, the way that we can truly get those measurements
Uh-huh.
would be to do a property survey and do the offset there. And that violates our anti-donation. If she was to, that's why I said, we had considered that before. But now we said, well, because all those houses have been established, walls are there. Even if there's an encroachment, that's gonna create an encroachment with somebody else, and we're gonna open something that, and not that I'm afraid to do that, but when we're speaking about this, we look at the immediate thing. So that's why we said, well, let's get them certified that they're not gonna fly away.
Right.
And then let's take it to planning and zoning to see if they would approve this and make a consideration based on your financial burden, right? Because remember, there's only 3 reasons for a variance. Number 1, financial burden, right?
Right.
Number 2, that it creates a nuisance to the community. She explained it, and I did tell her, there is more structures. We cannot disclose what other structures are either under, litigation or under code enforcement or under, like with hers. With hers, we've been doing this for how many months? Since September. So somebody else that, I can tell you that we get the same complaint. How come she has all of those and she has not changed them? Well, it's been since September that we've been dealing with her. We've been trying to get her compliant.
Right.
What it's important to understand here is that the ordinance is very clear that says you need to respect this. The ordinance says you need to do this. We've been working with her because we do consider we're just not picking on her. I can guarantee you that.
Right.
That is not what we're doing. Our concern is some of the areas. If we didn't believe that she had done it with any of those intentions, we will not present that case to you with any conditions. That's what it's hard to understand at times. But now, if we talked about a property survey and doing the opposite, it's more like Mr. Arlovino, I know you're familiar with this. It would be more like an Alta survey. I can tell you that that's gonna exceed, based on my experience, that's gonna exceed the $5,000-7,000. That will be more than 10, 15,
No,
20,000.
I get that.
So that's why it's hard. So we go based on the information that they have. Do they look, the variable here is this. If we go and take a tape and measure to where it's at, we may get a number. We cannot do that because we cannot attest that's the property line. That's why we don't get inside the property.
Well, do we assume the fence is on the property line?
That's the assumption, because all the houses, unless, like I said, if it's something that becomes a legal matter, like for instance, if she felt that the neighbor was encroaching, the city does not go and measure that. They need to go and hire a surveyor and they will set the property line, and then they will know whether they're encroaching or not. The city does not have that purview.
So if we ask her to take the step of getting some better measurements that we can look at, is that something the city's willing to bring her back?
We'll be willing, but I can tell you that this has been going on since
No, I hear
September.
you, but-
And that's why the city manager said, how can we help you? I cannot pay the $5,000, $6,000,
Right.
or whatever the amount you mentioned, I think it might have been more, to certify the structures. That voids basically all the other conditions, because she would not comply with that, and that's where this put us there.
But if CI, so let's do some, but what ifs. So if she brought some actual measurements that made sense. Building or drainage structure number 2 to the fence line. Number 1 is out, it's obvious it's wrong. Number 4, obvious it's wrong. Number 5, wrong. Well, maybe number 3 stays. If she brought those and then CID said those structures are viable, then there's a path forward.
Yes.
Okay, so then the question is, will the city entertain us postponing this item one more time to get some specific measurements, so we could try to get some of these.
We would do that, the city will be amicable to doing that.
Okay.
We will make it here on the record
Right.
that she would agree to it and not go another extension of X amount of time, and they come back and say, no, I cannot do it.
Okay. No,
And then at that point, it needs to, we need to set a line.
in my mind, I'd love to see the measurement between 3 in the fence, 2 in the fence, and I know 1, 3, 1, 4, and 5.
Just like we could not force the for her to get the certification. If she's amicable to that in a reasonable time that she says, or we can, we'll know more or less what that would take, right? I think this commission, has an idea of how long it's gonna take for property survey to be done.
Well, we can extend the surveys, but I'm just saying, that realistic tape measurement, because this.
Well, that's what we asked before. That's what we understand we received, because that's what we asked. Measure it to where whatever the edge is, not even to where the pole is, like where the roof line is.
Yeah, you didn't get a proper measurement. She didn't give you a proper measurement. There's no way that 3 to the fence is 5 feet. There's no way 2 to the fence is.
Yes, I don't know, like I said,
Yeah,
Would it be okay if we call her up?
Yeah.
And I'll
Request that.
float the idea to her to just see how she feels. So
yes, and if not, then
yes, sir.
I'd like to talk to her, so let me.
Go ahead.
Primeramente, señora Guerrero, voy a aprovechar a hablar español nomás para que sepa mi sinceridad. Sinceramente, quiero que sepa que yo, ¿verdad? El chairman Albino y todos los otros commissioners entendemos que es difícil y no es nuestro deseo hacerle su vida tan complicada que le esté afectando. El balance siempre es los intereses de nuestros deberes en esta organización para la ciudad, ¿verdad? Y con la persona. ¿Okay? Voy a cambiar a inglés nomás para que quede el registro claro. If we were only interested in going based off what is written, we would have already denied this and you wouldn't have been talking to us. The fact that we're trying, and it's been a long process, is because we want to help as much as we're allowed to and as much as it's proper for the commission. So let me ask you, viewing the pictures here, Chairman Arduino and I agree, it appears the measurements you provided could be off. Could it be the case that those measurements are off? We might have more room and justification to advance a little more on your side. So I'm not saying you need to obligate or you need to sign up for it right now, but off the top of your head, just quick. It would be delaying it a little more, but again, delaying it because we don't want to get to the point where we destroy your life. But we're delaying, it's been a delay because we're trying to find where we can ethically and legally be on the human side of it. Would you be open to just taking a simple measurement, you or someone in your household, a simple measurement with a tape measure, maybe even taking a picture of what the tape measure says. So that we know, because just based off what we're looking on here, I think some of your measurements are wrong. And if we're going based off of the measurements you gave us, it's not giving us a lot of room. There's a lot of wrong with it. If some of those were appear to actually be further away, which it looks like based off of we're using the truck and the observations that the chairman made, that would give us a little more room to maybe go towards that way. Would you be open, or would it maybe bring you a little bit of cooperation on your behalf to just a simple, you don't need to pay anybody, you don't need to, just you yourself remeasure it, especially for example, number 3, number 2, where then we can have a little more balance and say, it looks like they're not as close as the paper you provided, because the paper you provided, those full measurements, I think what you wrote down shows they're closer than what they actually are.
De hecho, la número 3 no está tan pequeña. La número 3 yo estoy viendo, se me hace que esas son fotos anteriores, porque la número 3 abarca todo lo que se ve ver del zacate.
Y, por ejemplo, el número 3, usted puso que está a 5 pies de retirado. A nuestro ojo observando.
No, es que esa no es la sombra retratada, esa no es la sombra. La sombra abarca más grande.
Sí, no, me refiero al dibujo que nos dio. Parece que a lo que estamos observando, usted puso que está a 5 pies de la pared, pero parece que es más.
Sí.
Ahora, yo no puedo garantizarle que sí o no.
Sí, porque esa foto no está bien. Esa foto que estaba bien, no está
Sí,
bien.
no, basándonos en esto y usando la foto, es posible que no son 5 pies, que son 10, 12 pies. Y eso, si ese es el caso, eso nos da más a nosotros para poder decir, bueno, aquí hay más, aquí hay menos, entonces nos da más, ¿verdad? Porque, de nuevo le recalco, nuestro deber no es atacarla, no es hacerle su vida imposible, pero nuestro deber es mantener lo que se ha decretado en papel y de manera justa para todos, ¿verdad? No, el hacer acepción a todos quiere decir que para de existir los reglamentos y todo. Entonces, usted estaría, posiblemente, no la estoy obligando y no es nada oficial, usted estaría dispuesta a demorarlo un poco más, pero con el entendimiento que para que actualice esos medimientos y pueda medir con...
¿Quieren que mida cuáles sombras?
Bueno, yo le recomendaría a todas para estar seguro, pero por seguro, for sure, remeasure, number 3, number 2. Por seguro esas, and just looking at it, and I'll forgive me to the translator because I know I'm bouncing around, but for sure, number 2, if you see, are you able to see, for example, number 2 on my right side, but you put down 5 feet away from the wall, but based on the picture, it's possible that it's actually, you're further away, which is what we're looking for. We want those buildings further away. So it's possible that measurement is not right. So if we delay it and you don't have to pay a professional, but you can just go out there, someone you trust with a home tape measure and just see if it is 5 feet. It's possible it's not 5 feet. It's possible you're actually further away. I can't guarantee it, and we're not professionals to be able to guarantee that's the case. But if we delay it and maybe get more information, it does have to come from you. But if we get more information, we're looking for how to be able to ethically justify an action of allowing this forward. Because just on paper, the way the chairman said, there's too much that's wrong. And we're trying to make it work. So I hope you find relief in the fact that we keep moving it is a sign that we're trying to enable a business owner as much as we can and as much as the rules allow us to and the way they allow us to. So would you be open to doing that? Maybe remeasuring the information you're giving us?
Sí. ¿Del frente? ¿De frente?
Yo le diría que de todas partes, pero por seguro de la pared de la propiedad hacia la sombra, haga el medimiento otra vez para que esté seguro que es 5 pies, porque de las fotos no parece que es 5 pies, señora. Le digo, al ojo de nosotros parece que tiene más espacio que lo que usted está marcando ahí, pero no le garantizo eso, ¿eh? No, es importante que le aclare. No, no somos profesionales para decirle que ese es el caso. Entonces, si usted está dispuesta a hacer eso, nosotros estamos dispuestos a investigar la posibilidad de demorarlo una vez más, pero para que nos dé más información o una aclaración. Y yo le hago la sugerencia que hasta hagan el medimiento y luego tengo una foto mostrando qué es lo que está mostrando la medida. Y no le pague a nadie, nomás una medida sencilla de usted o alguien que usted confíe que la haga para que nos avise si realmente es 5 pies y del otro lado también.
Esa es la que le decía yo que está ahí. Si la pasan, por favor.
Perfecto.
¿Otra? No, ¿dónde están las fotos? Ahí, no la otra. Esa es donde está la 3. Esa es la 3.
¿La de arriba?
Sí, esa es la 3.
She's saying number 3
Esa es la
is a
tres.
lot bigger than
Yeah.
what it shows.
Ok, so, entonces lo que usted nos está comunicando, igual sería bueno que lo haga, pero lo que usted nos está comunicando
Esa.
es que de acuerdo a la foto que estábamos viendo, ya se ha actualizado la
Sí,
foto.
esa no es, sí,
Ok,
esa no es.
ok,
Esa no es. Esa es.
ya la ves.
Entonces, las medidas de esa sombra,
Sí.
yo tomé la cinta y la medí de todos lados.
Déjenme darle una pregunta. Let me ask you another question. I apologize again to our translator. Ahora entendemos más. Number 2, that one also on the photo, did you, as in you changed it? It's changed just like number 3 we're seeing now, which meant?
Ay, no, está retratada. No cambié nada.
¿Cuál foto es?
Póngala la 2.
Número 2.
Esa es, la 2.
Okay.
So there's a discrepancy from the drawing to the.
Esa es por dentro, es.
Okay, no, perdóneme, forgive me, Mr. We were operating based off of the other picture, but it looks like from the aerial picture that we got to the ones you actually put, now your drawing makes sense. Okay,
La
now.
foto que ustedes vieron, todas están correctas. Nomás esa, que es la 3, esa no estaba
Bueno,
correcta.
just what we're seeing now is the picture from up top. It looks like that's an old picture, meaning
Exactly.
from when they took the top picture, you've made it, you added a bigger shade. So now it looks like the drawing makes sense a little bit more. So,
And then with the hand drawn, I just figured out these numbers, like number 4 is literally 10 inches. And number 5 is 5 inches from the lot line. So between 1 and 2 is 56 inches. 4.5 feet roughly.
ahora entiendo. Porque lo que estamos viendo nosotros de la foto de arriba no parecía 5 pies. Y nosotros lo estamos viendo y diciendo, no, hay más espacio. Pero ahora que usted nos aclara que estas son las fotos más recientes, it makes sense. Okay, now looking at this, yeah, I see.
Well, all right, señora, gracias por la, gracias. Any more questions for the applicant? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to, if there's anyone, signed up to speak on this item. Now is the time to do so. Anyone online? No? All right. Hearing none, we move, to the commission for an action and or, discussion. I don't know where to go. I'm sorry. This is, I understand what my confusion was now, and we all understand what confusion is. These,
That was it.
areas are old.
The Google, and that's what we were verifying, because we were like, oh man, like I said, we're not here to hit anybody, but it's like, well, we extended that. So I asked that question, and then I realized that the Google picture was that it just made it fit. What was there in the old Google picture or area picture?
I just really wanted her to know that
Right.
they're taking such a long time because we're trying to.
Yes, and that's why the city manager, like I said, when he spoke to her, is like, well, if this cannot happen, then The only option is for if CID will do it. So we're not forcing her to do that. That's the only other option. Otherwise, there's no conditions. That's the issue here.
Yeah.
Well, if anything, we would just not make it a condition, but we would say, for now, the business registration part of it, because that's what's gonna be impacting the business. The dates do not impact the business for it to function. What is gonna impact is a violation to the property, not allowing her to have a business registration because she's violating the city code.
Right.
So then that's what will have the impact. But this decision does not have an impact, a direct impact on whether she continues with her business or not. Because if she goes to, I don't know the system of whomever the agency is, what she did is above and beyond, right? And we acknowledge that,
Yeah.
that it was a good thing, as the chairman mentioned. But the business does not require all that she did it for the comfort and the well-being of the children. We understand that. That is not a requirement for the business registration. The business registration requires for her to be compliant with code and zoning.
Going to city council regardless.
Yeah, it's gonna go to city council, but again, like I said, it's important. I do want to stress to you guys that it is important because of the different liabilities that we have here. Like I said, I don't wanna say we twisted, but we understand. I mean, this is a condition that if you go to this area, there is a lot of structures that are similar. How many have we seen in the Valencias?
Yeah.
And what are the conditions? And they have accepted, right? These conditions. If we cannot force it, that's what is bringing us back
I
today.
mean, the problem is the quantity and, I mean, they're on the line, every single one. That's unfortunate. All right. Then, I guess roll call. Is there anyone else have any other questions? I don't see a,
Mr. Alvarez. Mr. Alvarez, do you have any questions?
I don't, no questions. Sorry about that.
Okay.
roll call, please.
Chairman Robert Rubino. Commissioner David Avalos,
Nay.
Commissioner Nestor Martinez, Commissioner Daniel Portillo,
Hey,
motion fails.
Suerte con la gente al concilio. Por favor. All right, next on the agenda, we have another variance. Is someone here?
I don't think so. Can you check online if Mr. Martin Aguirre is here?
No? Okay,
You want to postpone it for the
we'll
next meeting?
postpone it for the next meeting.
Okay.
So item number 3 will be postponed for the following meeting. And then we move from remarks and inquiries by the planning and zoning commission.
We need to make a motion to postpone.
Oh, postpone, entertain a motion to postpone.
And can you please state the
The date.
date, location, date?
February 11th, I entertain a motion to postpone item number 3, February 11th. So that there could be a applicant here to talk on his behalf.
I'll motion to postpone item number 3 to February 11th, 2026, so that the applicant will be here.
Okay. Second, please.
I second, David Avalos.
Roll call, please.
Chairman Robert Rubino,
Aye.
Commissioner David Avalos,
Aye.
Commissioner Nestor Martinez, Commissioner Daniel Portillo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, next on the agenda is remarks and inquiries by the commission. Have any? I have some blatant, great news about my chef. He got, the chef was honored with a James Beard, not award, but he was nominated. So that's a huge deal for the city. As much as it's a huge deal for us, it's a huge deal for the city. There's very few that have, I mean, he's one of 3 in the state. So It's a big deal. Anyways, other than that, I mean, anything from the city.
Oh, I just, kudos to the city. I saw that, with the snow and the rain, there was some, issue with some construction they had done on McNabb. I know McNabb and Comerciantes was the one near my house, but I think there were others. And from what I saw, the city responded really well, and all my neighbors and all of us were really satisfied at the response of the water runoff that it caused. So kudos to the city for that.
All right. Anything else from the commission? No, community director.
Okay, thank you. Well, Mr. Chairman, respectfully, we would expect to see what level or how the food would taste from someone at the rate of your chefs. So we would expect, some sampling next time, As they,
Come to Santa Fe, we're doing something that we got on, asked to be with 6 other restaurants to do a March 23rd Smackdown, Smackdown, so it's exciting too, but you gotta go to Santa Fe to see that. Other than that, come to dinner, folks.
yes. Mr. Portillo, thank you. Actually, Mr. Crosby was the one responsible for making that runoff, it's one of those things that I thank you for noticing that, and now that we're going through this divorce with the CRUA, with the dissolvement of CRUA, and the city of Sunland Park establishing its own water department, we've been working closely. This is something that in some areas where, for the public safety, and well-being of the community, that, the city had to aid in collaborating with Mr. Crosby. As I mentioned to the team, there's times, Mr. And I want to thank, our public works team, the water department team, our IT department was there droning and getting information. So it was not a long weekend for us. And so right now it feels like we've been working for 2 weeks straight or something. But it's one of those things, emergencies happen after hours, holidays and at night. So I do want to thank everybody and thank Mr. Crosby for being of great assistance. He showed up to the site and we were able to assess and address this before any problems could happen. The next thing is, we're gonna be coordinating another, upcoming training with Mr. Williams. He's the one that has been given some of the, or shops or, when, planning and zoning has been doing this very, high experience. He's the one that advised us today finally on how to resolve this, confusion on my part, as I said. And it's not the end of the world because the votes are there, and we needed to make sure that we follow the right process.
So let me ask for that. So the reason why you're bringing it up is because you're trying to get back to most of the people that are here to tell them the votes were this and therefore it was this.
Correct.
Okay.
Because, and a lot of people, I can tell you that we had a coordination meeting today, with the city of El Paso, and the planning director, from the city of El Paso mentioned, one of the planning and zoning commissioners from El Paso was present. And she was confused because it was a 2-1, but yet the motion failed.
Right.
And so, yes, and again, I tried, and I know, to strive for perfection, and I honestly, I was thinking.
I actually never heard of it on the city council side. And that's not a new thing?
It's Robert Rules of Order.
So how does it make sense that people aren't there? I mean,
That's what.
does El Paso they follow the same thing?
Robert rules. Now, Robert rules can be like, okay, we're gonna take this and not this part, and we're gonna follow this, and they adopt it, right? That's how you guys adopt it every year when you guys start. Now, that being said, what happened is, or what you have seen now is when that motion fails in the city council, it comes back to P and Z. It can be presented again. It's a fresh start because the motion is not denied. The motion simply fails because there was not enough votes.
And I don't know, have we had something come back?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the sign,
Araceli Guerrero?
Araceli Guerrero is one of them.
That's why I came back.
Remember the sign You guys recommend it, and then you're like, we saw this already, why is it coming back? It fails in the up, on the upstream.
Okay,
If the applicant fails to either appeal, so remember, the process is, planning and zoning, SUPs get approved 100% by you. Variances, because it's a quasi-government hearing, and not in essence, and in fact,
right,
then it must go to the hearing committee because it might have an impact financial, in the community or something, and it's important, it's actually, they need to make a decision on that. If it fails in city council, then they have the right to appeal in district court. Depending on what happens in district court, they can go to Supreme Court and then it can escalate, just like the annexation.
Right.
The annexation is one of the longest cases that, the city has had, and it was about, 9 years. Other cases, we have some that you guys have approved that are in district court right now, because they failed in the city council level.
right.
So it just depends, and like I said, because of all this, and it's, well, different things, my mind was on elected officials, and I sincerely apologize, but it is nothing that we cannot get corrected, but it's something that I want assured to you that staff, I pointed out to them, it's at the end of the day, that's why, we get appointed to these positions, and at the end of the day, it's my responsibility. And it's not something that I'm gonna cover or throw it under the rug. It's something that if it causes for me to come here and, do what I did today, I'd rather do that and have a good night's sleep than hide it and pretend that it didn't happen. And come back and make us look incompetent, or that we're, back to the old, Sunland Park times. With that being said, Municipal Day is coming up. I don't know if you guys have registered. We were updated for, last week. Mr. Crosby, the mayor, city manager, deputy city manager, and I, visited our legislators. We advocated for the one-stop shop. We are in the process right now of, securing, actually finalizing the, securing the land where the one-stop shop is. You guys will be invited to start being part of the stakeholders. As long as we don't have a rolling forum, we should be okay. So I ask that you guys, talk among yourselves here and make a decision. Can we be part of this, or I would like to be part of this and take turns, so we don't have a rolling forum, so we can have two of you. Two out of four? But before a rolling forum? Or they only have 5 seats?
Well, we only have 4.
But they have 4, so for a rolling forum, is it just 2? Okay, so we recommend that. And, because they're important, these are big buildings, these are gonna be multi-story buildings, there's a lot of structures that are gonna be built. And that was our number 1 priority this year, for city, ICIP. We finalized, as you know, the land transfer for the future, urgent care here in Sunland Park. So, the parcel of land is the one next to Sheriff's Posse on McNabb Road.
To the west?
On the same side, to the east, across from the church. Yes, it's the parcel next to it going towards the post office.
No, it's the west. I think it's west. Not towards the mountains.
Well, it depends, sometimes they can, like you're south, and a lot of people is like, oh, no, that's east, then you're south.
Next to the sheriff's house.
Yes, next to the sheriff's
Wow,
posse,
middle of the city, that's good.
correct, and, yesterday, the team and I, as well as the city manager and the water department, we reviewed the, drainage plan, so we're gonna be submitting for a grading permit ourselves, to be able to start building the site and start getting, people, to be able to come in and see who's the best, fit for the city of Sunland Park. As you know, the other, major project that we have is, before that, the other one that was completed was the trail. That is the prototype, what you see in front of the multi-gen. It needs to get cleaned up because they're finishing putting in the landscape, but that type of landscaping, rock, it's what's gonna be standardized throughout the city, and is gonna be requested required, not requested, required per your recommendation and approval of the city council, that every development that abuts any major road, that will have the landscaping. As a matter of fact, Carlos Aguirre project, is letting out, well, has let out, and we're about to award, a contractor. That itself has a 12, not a 10, a 12-foot trail with the same cross section. San Diego buff color, concrete, from the landscaping, plants and rock will be the same. The only difference is that instead of the 10 that you have there, we made it 12 because we need to maintain part of the drainage that will be coming in.
north side of an effort,
Correct.
so it's on, it blows through Walker's property. So
Yes. The other side, it's another project that we have on the horizon, but this one is the one that has been funded through Colonias. We're able to secure, I would just tell you, just north of $3 million. It's a little bit more, but because we have not awarded, I need to hold it until we award that, because we've not disclosed that estimate. So that one's coming up, and we are waiting and getting ready to start construction in March. That's another major project for the city, like I said, over $3 million. We are finishing the design for Calle Carrusel and Calle Obregón. Is that correct, Jason? In the Anapra subdivision, we're gonna continue there. We have, after this, we will have 2 roads left, and we'll be finally completed with that project. This project includes rehabilitation of manholes, new water installations, and finally fire hydrants, which they don't exist at this point.
Total cost of what? Total cost?
As of today, we're nearing up about 60 million, just north of $60 million, in investment in the Anapra area. That's the largest single investment in the community.
Oh.
And, we have more to come, right? So, we believe it's gonna just go north of 25.
So, I can ask, with the dispensary, when we first started talking about it 3 years ago, there was always a component of city, there was supposed to be a component of giving to the city. Did that just kind of fade away?
On the, I'm sorry, in the cannabis.
Yeah, on cannabis.
The cannabis has 2 taxes right now. One, additional square footage from the city of Sunland Park,
Right.
that it's, how we're doing, it's mostly allocated to, public safety.
Mm-hmm.
If you have seen this white vehicles that, chargers, and they have the city, police logo, but on the back it says Public Service Aid. What the city of Sunland Park is doing is, we're having a hard time recruiting. As a matter of fact, I heard today that 2 of the, people that had been hired, got picked up by Las Cruces PD because they doubled up on, some sort of incentives. So we keep losing officers in Sunland Park. So what HR and the manager worked on is actually recruiting at the high school level, paying for the academy and getting them through. So that's why they serve as PSAs right now. They have to go through the academy before they hit the streets and pass and go through their FTOs and what have you. But that's the investment that we're doing, and we're securing them for, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's 2 to 4 years that they need to stay with the city, and that's part of the recruitment.
Right.
Some of those revenues are coming from this fund. That's the square footage, and the other one is obviously the state tax, which it's divided into 3. The cannabis has plateaued in revenues, and we have not gone up or down. We have gone down in business. There's a lot of businesses either closing, changing ownership, and we're working with new staff, and we're revamping community development again to be able to better serve and have better numbers on really how much we really have. We have about 65 SUPs, and there was 34, I believe, ladies, actual businesses that were operating, and I think we just dropped like 4 or 5 more. But the revenues are steady, so that means that the businesses that are going are the ones that are obviously have that market.
Is the city collecting any revenue for art from anyone at all?
Everybody claimed that it was gonna be art and we're gonna contribute to this, and
There's nothing being collected.
no. And we can't force it because it's part of their business plan that they say, well, we're gonna participate on X, Y, and Z. It has
So
to,
that's just an order.
that's for you guys to know when neo SUPs come over and say, well, how are you gonna make that commitment, right? And that's what we're finding out, because it's on paper that they were gonna do it, but it's not enforceable because it's not in the ordinance.
Well, I would suggest that we figure out how to get some money towards public art. And then I'm gonna also suggest that we rehash the commission or the committee that I'm supposedly on, for tourism dollars from the one hotel tax, two hotel tax, mean that. So.
Yeah, the, lodgers tax.
Lodgers tax, because that's just, all that money's gone away to the city coffers, I'm sure, right now.
It's, those funds are restricted.
Right.
So if that comes in, that money stays there. As a matter of fact, that's what we're trying to do in community development. In order to improve in certain things, there's things with subdivisions where we have increased revenues and simply enforcing what you guys have approved. So that's great. I can tell you that our revenues went up like by $500,000 in just what has been going on in this year with community development. Not on construction, not going on vertical, because that is something that it's a one-time shot, but which is subdivisions as well. But just in what was not probably being charged accurately, we have increased that from the last fiscal year. So we're gonna continue now with businesses, like, bringing them into compliance. And we're gonna bring those revenues even further. That is what's gonna start helping and aiding with this, trail systems and, transportation, routes and other outdoor rec, which is something that we should be capitalizing because of our landscape. Valero continues moving forward. We do have another gas station, as you recall, which is the Shell station. We have some things that we're working with them, the SWIFTs and stuff, but everything, we're bringing them into compliance. So they're not working right now until they get back into compliance, but they're moving forward. I guess the last thing, any other? No, the annexations, where they stand. We're gonna be having a zoning on the next council meeting. Has been postponed, and we're gonna be zoning that, and we're gonna move forward and see where that takes us. And the most important thing right now is finalizing this separation of powers with the crew and us getting the employees that we need to get, so we can really, now, there's some trucks from the water department that you have seen, they don't have a city logo yet, or a logo. And it's because we don't want to invest in a crew logo when we're gonna put our city logo on it, which will be the City of Sunland Park Water Wastewater or Water Department. But SPUD, yes, Sunland Park
Utility department.
Utility Department. Sunland Park Utility Department. We've been calling for that acronym of SPUD, so. Well,
It's PUD.
yes.
Nice.
So that's all we have. Madam Clerk, Deputy Clerk, is there any trainings for the planning and zoning commissioners or anything, any of them? Put them,
The one for tomorrow's was
It's
postponed, right?
And so you also, but you started saying there was enough, the workshop, the gentleman for P and Z, did you start saying he was gonna come down here?
we want to set up a date, probably after March. Right now is legislative session.
Alright.
So after March, we want to get him down here and give us another training. So
Sure.
if there's something that you guys have ideas, send them to the clerk or to the deputy clerk. And tell us, hey, I would like to know more about, I know I've spoken with Mr. Portillo about subdivisions and how they get broken down and what have you. If there's something that you, Mr. Chairman, or any of you think that I need some help with this, or what is Robert Rules of Order, or how do they come from, It's a beautiful story from the Van Wyck family, how they established that, probably from New Mexico, so it's always good stuff. And then we will set that up. And is there anything else coming up?
Quick question, Hector.
Yes, sir.
If I was interested in finding out about the data or just kind of the the numbers of how many times city council has gone with our recommendation here? Is that something that can be tracked?
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Cook. And that's what the city clerk as custodian of records,
Okay,
will be able to, populate that.
okay, that's something we'll discuss.
Correct. And it's something that we, we can workshop it and say, hey, well, what is it that, how come we're not aligning or something, and we can go from there. But that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Nothing else? Meeting adjourned at 6:50.
Mr. Crosby?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.